Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. We will try to make the presentation a little bit shorter than usual to leave some room for questions. So be prepared to do that when we are finished. So my name is Olivia, and I'm here with my colleague Niko. We are here today to talk about our company imec. imec is an abbreviation that stands for Inter-University Microelectronics Center. So what we do actually is we are an independent research center which we use to produce and develop chips for R&D purposes. So that's our main activity. What do we need for that? We need people who make the chips. So that's what we will be talking about today on how to do the training, what the training challenges are, how we aim to solve them with the help of XR, and also what the challenges are, and what we are still doing today and what we are planning to do in the future. So that's...
If I may quickly jump in, so the picture you see are real operators at imec, and what we actually do at imec is make the chips of the future today. So all the headsets that are in here, all the glasses that you have seen over the couple of days, they actually have technology inside that was co-developed or developed at imec.
Definitely. Yeah, this one. No, exactly. Is it this one, maybe? Yes, okay. So to show you kind of the macro context that we are finding ourselves in today, we see that in the semiconductor industry, the demand for chips is huge, while the supply is also growing. However, the talent gap is real. So this is a challenge we're facing as well with us in imec, because we really want to ensure the quality. However, how the ratio is today is that there is one trainer for 2 trainees. We are a huge company. We have to build all the chips, like Niko said. So we really need a lot of high-quality people to hire within a really complex environment, because you will see later in the presentation some images of how the clean room looks like, but it's a really complex environment with a lot of tools and machines. So you can imagine it's really a challenge for the trainees to learn this at a fast pace with a high quality. Yes, now I know what button to push. So this is a small overview of all the benefits XR could give in this context, and also gives, because what we really see is we need a solution where the trainees can train in a safe environment where they can practice a lot. However, the trainers are really over-asked at the moment. You all know it as well. We only have 2 eyes and 2 hands to help each other out. So the challenge is real. So we want to scale this up to 1 to 4 trainees, and in the future, even 1 to 8 trainees for 1 trainer. So that's kind of the challenge we're facing today. Also important, and I haven't mentioned it, is the costs, because XR can really cut the costs, because especially in a clean room environment, we are trying to up the yield time and to cut down the time that is spent on the machines. Because as you can imagine, if a trainee is spending time on a machine that should actually be producing chips and it's spent in training, it really impacts the costs as well. So we can win a lot by doing these things in VR as well. So the solution we came up with is actually using VR and AR, so a combination of both. We use VR for the procedures and AR for the on-the-job guidance by the trainer. So I will give the word to my colleague now.
Thank you, Olivia. So if there's any questions or whatever, so reach out, no problem at all. So how does it look, our solution today? We have a couple of components in there, which is of course crucial, is to have really a waterfall of learnings. So we start with a lobby, which is a nice looking lobby where we actually take the trainee with us together with the trainer. It's a multi-person or multi-user environment. And there we actually teach them the values and how to work in XR, AR and VR. We also have a virtual clean room, which we of course strip from a lot of other things that they don't need to know at that point in time, which is also crucial. and the modules, which is speaks for itself, the various modules, and the AR guidance. So what is very important that people have the time to take and rehearse themselves before they actually go to the clean room. The moment they are in the clean room, then they actually need to be able to already take part of the production on their own. And what is crucial, our support square person is sitting here in the front row as well, and he's also at the booth, is that we have a very good platform that we can monitor everything, every little step, every move, every action that is taken. Diving a bit more deep, so how do we see it as the lobby? So it's a world where you, like we talked about, a little metaverse of imec, where you actually can experience and learn things about HR, but also what could your next career path be, or how it works in imec. This is our hub where we can actually jump from back and forth. And of course, we also take into account our Belgium surrealistic approach. So we make little games within this lobby so that people can discover their most interesting painting or some hidden wafers. And the wafer is typically the shiny disc that you see on here. Same thing with our virtual clean room. I'm not sure if is anybody ever been in a clean room? Yeah, so it's not the best location to learn because it's quite loud, it's quite busy, and there's a lot of activity, and you have the feeling, certainly the first time that you're there, that you're moving in the way of many other operations. So what we do, we strip literally the noise, not only just the noise level, but also the amount of people or avatars walking in and out of your zone, so that people get to know the tools on their pace, step by step. This is a crucial learning mechanism, of course. So just to see, it's 8,000 square meters. Having this virtual clean room helps to discover where are the tools that I am supposed to learn. Just physically alone, it's a challenge. 300 different tools, 75 HMIs, interfaces, etc., etc. So there's a lot of complexity, and this is gradually learned step by step. And then, of course, the platform where we can actually monitor. So it's either on a web portal or on an app or whatever. The trainee. This is crucial whenever you start with teaching or training operators or whatever. It is crucial that you look at it from two dimensions, the trainee and the trainer, or the subject matter expert who needs to guide your trainee. So, and to make life easier, you can monitor, we can see different things. We can actually interact with people who are in VR while we are remotely monitoring them. Same thing with augmented reality. Here actually the trainer becomes even more useful. The expert is less used, but the moment the user is having a problem that we didn't yet discover in the virtual reality solution, they can ask help by just scanning a simple code. They get immediately in contact with an expert. And that's a nice thing when we're talking about the operation ripple effect, is the more people we are training, the more difficult from a human being, if I should call out now today and say, okay, who had an issue with virtual reality? Perhaps some of you would raise their hand, but if you really struggle understanding something, a new context, the bigger the group, the easier it is to hide. To hide back to one of the other trainees and not to ask the question. Here we see they're in a one-to-one contact with the expert, and they're open to share their issues. And the good thing about the system that we have behind it is as well, the moment we see this is really a useful case for the other trainees, you press the record button, even it's at the end of the session, and we have the full record of what happened, and we can show it in the bigger group so that we say, okay, we had a problem here, this is how we solve it. Next time you have it, you can do it as well. Or VR solutions, I mean, you have seen a lot of them already. So It helps, of course, to minimize the risk. And of course, 1 hour in VR in the clean room is for us a huge gain. It's the biggest return on investment is there, but it's a lot more because you're no longer in the way. And the moment you actually are, that's what we see with our trainees, the moment that they actually are in the clean room itself, they already have a certain confidence that they've built up by the experience that they have in virtual reality. And some of the procedures which are introduced later on, our new trainees, they know it already, and the senior operators don't know it yet, so they learn already from the new guys as well, which is very important.
Now, you're probably wondering, great, thank you for showing, but how did you do it? Well, we actually follow the process to come through the proof of concept. It was not an easy process, I must say, because you have to align a lot of stakeholders, a lot of challenges along the road. But it all starts with the scope definition, because if it's too broad, it will never be feasible. So that was really important to guard that. Then we started scripting the content, so the modules and stuff like that. We came up with a lot of ideas. There's a lot of gains still to do, but now we have about 8 modules who are working perfectly. 11, yeah, sorry. State of the art is 11 apparently. So we're still scripting today to craft more modules and to have more gains on the site. And then we had to make a very important decision: which supplier is going to support us? Well, it will be Support Square. We did it really cautiously because it has to be a platform that is mature enough to handle the sensitive data, and also to be able to scale with us, because we are still building new clean rooms and we want to scale the approach as well. So the supplier should be able to do that with us as well. And then we started the training development together with the trainers and constant feedback loop with them to then train them, to make them enthusiastic, to make sure the enthusiasm really flows through to the trainees and the process is handled well. Also to flag potential risk and insecurities early, because some of the trainers, as you can imagine, when they started working for imec, they didn't really thought they were gonna have to give training in XR, and now they have the opportunity to do so. But you really have to get them on board and get them to be an ambassador as well of the solution. So we managed to do that, which is a great success. And then now we are silently moving towards business case development, how to scale this approach, how to move forward further, and which way to go forward, which we will talk about more later. Now, what does the trainer-trainee interaction really look like?
It's not the big picture of me, but okay, I allow it.
There will come another as well. Now the trainee really has the opportunity to choose which way they really prefer to learn. And it's also a safe space, not only in terms of procedure, but also in terms of inclusivity and the social aspect of it all. Because as you can imagine, introverted people are less inclined to ask questions and to be open about what they are not really grasping of the content. So now, it becomes a little bit easier for them to do that through the virtual reality. Also, the trainer is actually gaining in quality, because now most of the questions get handled through the XR, and then the really difficult, more niche questions get handled by the trainer itself. So for the trainer, there's less of a repetitivity aspect to it. A next step we are developing as we speak is to have an FAQ trainer in the virtual room to really answer those repetitive questions.
Yeah, and there's just to give you a head. So I've chosen the name for the project was Daedalus, which is, if some of you are familiar with the Greek mythology, he has a son, Icarus, and Icarus, this is a picture, I'm not sure if you saw it lately in the news, it's a picture of somebody skydiving in front of the sun. So, but I thought about it when, okay, Icarus flew through the sun with wings and made with feathers and wax. And then, of course, the higher he was, he fell down. So what are actually the pain points it's critical, of course, to do change management from day one, whether it's the trainees, the trainers, but also management. Management is very important to take with you. HR, IT, legal, we heard it prior to this session as well. And then having a good business case, proving, actually measuring and showing people, like Olivia just said, just simple things. If you can prove that if you have introvert persons in your team, that you can have an automatic report saying, okay, some of your team had last week 40 questions, you had 4. Are you struggling with something? Yes or no? This already helps people to say, yeah, for me as well, I struggle with A, B, and C. So this could already show as a business case that you're helping people to ask questions, to start asking questions already. So which is a very important one to have. Managing expectations gap, I think we're all convinced here about XR, but hyping people up and then getting a beta version of your first module, sometimes I did find myself in a suicidal mode to jump out of a building, because sometimes there are, of course, big, huge differences between what a 3D artist thinks your script is doing or wants to do and what it's actually doing. So there it's very nice to balance those thoughts. And of course, securing a physical space. I know that we're all in the digital world, but having a physical space is really important if you want to scale up as well. If you don't have the room to scale up, then you're not able to have more than 4 people or 8 people or 10 people or 30 people at the same time trained like we do now. And the last one is maybe the most important one for me, is making sure that you come out of the shadow of prior pilots. Because a lot of companies have already tried 1 or 2 sessions with AR, VR, probably not scoped perfectly, probably not handled perfectly, costed probably a lot of money with 0 to none return on investment. And that's something you really have to point out every time. Okay, what's our goal? What are our objectives? Where do you want to go to? And what do you achieve step by step? And really communicate that on a daily, monthly, weekly basis so that you can convince people, okay, yes, maybe they spent 100 or 200,000 euros previously, but you're actually going to put now the money where it's worth, and you will show it, and you are showing it. So that's super important to do. And very much important, of course, is begin with the end in mind. If you are, like we, focusing on having semi-automatic certification of operators, knowing that they not only can copycat, but they know their stuff, they're able to handle issues. If there are panic sessions, let's say, or panic operations, that they're able to solve it, then this is how you should start the training and how you should have your platform already laid out. So,
yes, we're coming near the end. What we also did since the beginning of the project is to measure our effectivity. So what we did, we actually handled 2 conditions. First condition is a traditional training package without XR. The second condition is the traditional training package plus XR training. So it's not the one or the other, but it's both. And then we actually measured through 2 surveys, one evaluated by the trainer about the trainee, and one evaluated by the trainee, him or herself, to see whether they're willing to adopt, whether it's engaging enough, if it's efficient, if they are making less mistakes, stuff like that. And what we saw is actually quite surprising to both of us as well, is that there was actually no significant difference between the condition 1 and 2. Now, you may think that's kind of strange, right? Because you would expect XR to be better, at least you would hope so. But actually, it's good news, because this means that we can really scale the solution without compromising on the quality. So actually, it was the best outcome we could have hoped for. So what we saw is that the knowledge retention was stable. they had more of a spatial awareness, as you can imagine, in the clean room, because it's a huge room with a lot of tools, and now they really got to know the tools and the machines at their own pace, and they could explore without being in the way of other operators or production activities. They really agree with the efficiency of the tasks and the modules, so they are developed really intuitively, and the UX is also good enough. And then also really important for us is that the trainers would be willing to adopt it, and we had 100% rate on that, so that was a great outcome. Now, we really want to stress that we are still in the works of this project, so we are not at the finish line just yet. We have a lot of great ambitions to develop still. So we are really open the rest of the day to hear your suggestions. And now, if you have a few more minutes, I hope. Perfect, to have your questions. So thank you for being here today.
Any questions? I want to get your questions on the mic so we can get it in the recording. Any questions?
What was your approach to evaluating knowledge retention between the version with and without XR? How do you measure that? What's the methodology?
Yeah, so we approached it through a first methodology, which we measure now, but we are planning to automate it in the future, so just so you know. But how we did it right now is we had a survey for the trainees, and then we had the same questions for the trainer about the trainee. And then per task or module, we asked on a scale of 1 to 10, I think, how well they performed. And then after the training, we asked as well. And then after a few weeks, we actually monitored it and see if the retention is just as good or not. We are aware it is not the perfect way of measuring this, but it was to get a first glimpse of the results. And now we are looking into how to do it further and more precisely as well, because sometimes it's hard to evaluate yourself. I mean, self-evaluation is never the best way of evaluating. And also for the trainers, you don't have an individual overview of the tasks always, so it's not.
And so what we do as well is after, it's a 4 weeks training that we actually cover with this virtual reality and augmented reality. After week 2, we actually put them in a virtual clean room, which has flaws versus the real clean room. So after week 2, they already go into the clean room, and then ask them as a group activity to check what are the incorrect things in it, so that we record the session and then we know exactly who notices what. So because eye for detail in a clean room is very important. And our next step would be that after every certification module, the people would actually have to say what have they learned, how would they explain it to a colleague, and what are the hiccups or the possible hiccups. And we would then train an LLM to actually understand good or bad behavior so that we can score it automatically. So that's the next step. Any other questions?
All right, real quick, because we're right on time here.
Just a quick question, because I saw that you are using rear-wear glasses. This is because of the other stuff that you need to have on your head in the cleaning room, like protection glass, etc. Or you did it on purpose? Because rear-wear is limited when it comes to some features, and just wanted to know if that was on purpose and if you plan to maybe use something more sophisticated in the future. Thank you.
It's a super question, the €1 million question actually, because is it the perfect headset for us right now? No. In the use case that we have, yes, of course. But it's true, yeah, you are limited in a clean room on what you're able to bring in, what you're able to wear and not to wear. So it was part of the quest these 3 days to find for the perfect headset within the clean room. Didn't find it yet, to be honest. I think it will be a la carte headset that we have to build with various components because of the specifications.
All right, thank you very much. Great presentation.